If you have always struggled to learn bow drill, or have always wanted to and just never got the opportunity, I may have the answer for you. Stay tuned. So recently I was contacted by a company out of China known as PSKOOK, or spelled PSKOOK. And they offered to send me a couple of items that they thought I might be interested in concerning the content of my channel. But when I looked at the items, I wasn't quite sure. One of them did attract me. It was something I thought might be useful, and I will show you that. The other I wasn't quite so sure. If it hadn't been for a video that I had seen by Sepp over in Walden Work Bushcraft, then I may not have been interested. But the more I looked at the item, I said, you know, there might be some value in it. And what it is a pre-made bow drill kit. It is different than anything you've seen before and operates quite differently as well. But I have tried it out and it's very effective. So let me show you what it is. So I purchased the kit on Amazon, and that's the deal with this company, is that I purchase the items. If I like them and I review them, then they'll refund me the money. So I just want to be clear about this. I paid for these up front, but I am going to be reimbursed for them when I release this video. And honestly, I'll put out the good and the bad so that you are able to make an informed decision whether or not this is something for you. So here's what you get with the kit. So to start with, you get a nice hearth board, and when I say nice, it's already pre-made. It's all cut for you. There's even divots and catchment notches, and it seems to be a very light soft wood. The company doesn't identify what it is. It's fairly close grained, but it's still very light. It's kind of like a balsa wood. It's probably the best way to describe it. As you can see, I have tried it out once already with success first time out. The bow is about a 12 inch piece of bamboo, and well, I'll talk about the way it's strung in a minute. But the spindle is also pre-made. You can see where it burnt in, and I've just chipped off a little bit of the black so I can give you a demonstration today. But it's the handhold that really makes this different, as well as the lacing on this. The handhold is set on top of the spindle with a set of bearings, and I'll pull it apart. Hopefully I don't lose anything inside. So you can see there's a bearing right here, nylon or Teflon washers, and another bearing down inside of there. It does spin very, very freely. And there's the company name. So when I looked at this, and I thought, you know, it certainly doesn't look to be a high quality, well-crafted item, well designed. It just doesn't look like something that's going to last a long time. But for the purposes that I'm going to put it to, and you may want to put it to, it doesn't have to last a long time. So who is this for? Well, when I envisioned this being used by somebody with little or no experience, a lot of it has to do with your ability to use the bow drill. Yes, there's a lot more than just using it. You have to be able to select good materials, but a lot of it is technique, and that's, I think, probably the hardest part for most people to grasp is technique. I'll tell you, when I started doing bow drill, I failed more often than I succeeded. And then eventually I started to fail as often as I succeeded, and then eventually I succeeded more than I failed. But I still, once in a while, I don't do well with a bow drill. There are so many factors. Well, this helps to eliminate some of those factors, such as the wood choice. It works very well. The handhold on top spins freely, so you don't have to worry about too much friction up there, or any friction for that matter. The lacing on this is not something you have to find a bow and figure out how to use. And this is, well, it's a little complicated. It is in fact made of two pieces of paracord, kind of wrapped over each other. Hopefully that shows how that's working as I wrap it back and forth. And it has a very short throw, so you don't need a long bow for this to work. So, do I see this as something that's going to last a long time? Not likely. It's just not a heavy-duty constructed item. But for somebody who's just learning how to use a bow drill, I think this will probably last long enough. It does come with 10 pre-made spots on this. You could go down the other side. By the time you've gone through 10 successful bow drills, your technique should be starting to get a little bit better as you go, and then you can start experimenting with other materials found in the woods. You know, it's possible once I wear the tip of the spindle down that I may be able to rig something up on top. kind of like you might with a hand drill, where you would have a successful long drill and a replaceable tip on it. So I might be able to make something that I can insert a piece of wood in each time if this lasts. And that's going to be the question: how long will this last? I will also show you, or tell you before I show you, the design of this kind of forces you to hold your hand like this, not on top like you normally would. You can, it's just a little bit uncomfortable, and I probably would, if I'm going to keep this any length of time, take the sharp edge, chamfer that down and round it down a little bit. Alternatively, you could use a glove or a piece of leather or something else in your hand to make it a little bit more comfortable, but it works just as well like this. Not the best technique, but again, for gaining success, and there's nothing like being successful at something to generate motivation to continue getting better at it. Okay, that's enough about the design of this item. Let me set it up and we'll see if we can't make an ember with it. Okay, so I've set up down here on the edge of the lake, on the granite shelf here at the edge of the lake, and there's a bit of wind coming from behind me, so hopefully it doesn't give you any wind noise that interferes with this demonstration. So I have a small little bird's nest, just enough to get a flame going. It's very small, and this is made up of some bark I found hanging off a tree here with a little bit of bracken, a little bit of birch bark mixed in. It's just nice, stringy, very dry inner bark of what I believe to be an aspen tree. I have my hearth board down with my foot on top of it. I have the collection notch facing out so that you'll be able to see the dust as it collects. I have a piece of birch bark as a collection plate underneath the notch. And yeah, all right, let's see if we can't give this a go. Now, still the same skills all apply. You still have to be in a comfortable position because you may be at this for a period of time, although my experience with using this just once before is that it didn't take very long. And for a handhold on top, normally I would have my hand locked in or my wrist locked in around my knee, holding the spindle straight up and down. That, like I mentioned, is a bit uncomfortable on top of this, and I could have used something in between it just to give me a little bit more comfort, but I don't have to have that much pressure on this from the experience I had with the last one. So the throw on the bow is very short, and that's due to the way the cord is wrapped around it. So start off slowly, and after the last use, I did have to repoint the spindle to get a little bit of a, take the shininess off of it. Even so, it's starting to, oh, there we go, okay. It was starting to squeak. Does take a few seconds to burn in a little bit. All right, now we've got a little bit of heat generating. I can see a little bit of smoke. I don't want to press too hard or go too fast at this point. What I'm trying to do is drill down and create dust inside of that collection notch. And there is dust being created, but the notch is not filling up yet. All right, the notch appears to be just about full. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'll increase the speed. Try to increase the friction to a point where it reaches the right temperature for ignition. And hopefully it has worked because I've drilled right through my board. But I appear to have an ember going. Maybe. Very gently lift the hearth board off, give it some air. And we have an ember. I'm going to give it a second or two to coalesce. See if I can't rearrange the camera so you can see this being blown into. As you can see, I have an ember, and put that into the bird's nest. Fragile little bird's nest that it is. Now my back is to the wind intentionally so that I can use the wind to my assistance and kind of help clear the smoke out of my face. Ouch. And we have flame. All right, let's wrap this video up. All right, so what are my thoughts on the PSKOOK pre-made bow drill set? Well, a couple thoughts. What do I like about it? It works. Very effective. Good choice of wood. It's nice and dry, and it's functioned and designed to work very well. Very compact as well, you can see. If you want to take a bow drill set with you rather than make one in the woods, this would certainly work. What do I not like about it? Well, it seems to be not flimsy. I don't want to say flimsy, but it doesn't seem to be designed to last a long time. Now, I may be proven wrong in that I'll use this until I've used up at least all the notches on the hearth board to see how it works. And then maybe I'll see if I can't modify it for use on other materials, like I mentioned, creating some type of a tip on the end of my spindle, as well as another hearth board. I will modify the end of the handhold so it's a little bit more comfortable to use. But other than that, you know, it's quite an effective. I actually quite ingenious the way the lacing works on this. I'm a little afraid to take it apart for fear that I won't get it back together again, but I know that PSKOOK does have videos on their own YouTube channel showing you how to lace these things up. So if you wanted to try this on your own home-built DIY pre-made bow drill set and use this style of a bow with this type of rigging, stringing, then you could probably give that a try as well. I wanted to show you this. This is the notch that I used today to create that ember and that quick fire. And as you can see, I bottomed out quite quickly, in fact, in time though for the ember to ignite, but it didn't give me any spare room. So you're only going to get one fire from one notch, and that's fine. It you know, it isn't meant to be something that you're going to use repeatedly. That's why you've got 10 different notches, presumably 10 different fires. So for what it is, which I think is a great instructional tool and possibly something that you could use on a semi-regular basis, it's not bad. Is it a long-term use tool? I don't think so. Will it give you all the skills you need to go out and do a bow drill from nature? No, it won't do that either. But it will give you some success which you can build on for when you do move into something from nature. If you're a city dweller like I am and you don't have access to wilderness like I do so close by, getting materials to create a bow drill with might be a little bit challenging. This can be delivered right to your door by Amazon, and you have something you could practice. Well, I wouldn't recommend doing it indoors, but at least outside on your back deck or in your driveway, just to start to get the skills down. So I'm quite impressed with how well it works. We'll see how long it lasts, and yeah, we'll go from there. Oh, I did mention that the PSKOOK did send me a couple of other items. I thought I'd share those with you. Let me lay this down. So if you're into this sort of thing, I refer to it as bush jewelry, bushcraft jewelry. It's quite an ingenious little thing. It doesn't look bad either. It's not necessarily my style, but I could wear it, I could see. What you have is a very nice striker with a serrated edge on it, just large enough to hold with your fingers, and it is quite sharp. So you could strike a ferrocerium rod with it, or you could scrape off some shavings from fat wood or other dry wood for lighting with the ferrocerium. There is a 1-inch ferrocerium at the base, which I have not used, but I am going to demonstrate the strike on another ferrocerium, and a piece of paracord with fisherman knots on the end so that you can adjust it for length and lay around your neck. And what's unique about this paracord is it is 7-strand paracord, but it has an extra strand of fire starter built into it. And that's the other thing they sent. 2 types of fire starting paracord. One that just has the fire starting material in it. It feels like a waxed type of a jute that's inside with the 7 strands of paracord. I'll use that another time. And another piece that has not only the fire starting paracord but fishing line inside of it. So these are just samples that they sent me, and rather than try them today, I'll save that for a future video. But I did want to show you how well this works. I get my ferrocerium rod out. So I have my ferrocerium rod here. Hopefully this will show up on camera in the sunlight here. Now, it does dig in and remove quite a bit of metal from the ferrocerium rod, so it's and what it's intended to be, of course, is an emergency backup fire lighting system. If you've lost your primary and maybe even your secondary fire lighting system, then you have this that you can wear around your neck, so you always have a means of starting a fire with you. Not a bad concept, not bad looking either, so something just a little bit different. Okay, I think that's enough for this video. Let's wrap this up. What do I think about the PSKOOK pre-made bow drill set? Not bad. It's a great learning tool. It will hopefully motivate you to try to go on to use natural materials to make a bow drill with. And yeah, I think it's not bad. Is it worth the money? I think that's only something you can decide. I bought it. I don't mind having it. I don't know that I would have bought it otherwise. Well, I don't think I needed to, because my skills are at a point where I can work with natural materials on a fairly successful basis. But yeah, it's something you may want to have a look at. Okay, that's all I have for you today. And you know what I'm going to do? On this beautiful day, I'm going to continue to explore all around the outside of this lake as much as I can. So until next time, get out and explore. Take that path less traveled. Take your bug dope with you. The black flies are crazy today. Bye for now.